Well, something is happening to our hospitals all over the country and especially in rural areas. This is a major alert that I think needs the utmost attention because something is happening with them. But as a quick reminder, get to restrictedrepublic.com. I can't stress this enough. I started this because we are getting pushed off of all these platforms. Please support us. Right now, I post exclusive videos on Restricted Republic just for your eyes, and we are people funded. We are funded by you. No millionaires, no billionaires. So if you are not there to back us, we will one day be gone. Use the coupon code TRUMP to get it for $5 per month for that entire first year. It'll help support us and help support what we are doing. All right, so let's dive into what on earth is happening to hospitals all over the country. Well, the truth of the matter is right now, hospitals all across America are closing. At least a lot of them are. And again, this is obviously really important because, well, if some of us need to go to the hospital and we don't have a hospital that's close enough, depending on, what we need, it could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, hours, or hours away. Sometimes if you are in these rural communities, if these hospitals are shutting down, that could mean less services for you and I, and this could lead to lots of problems. But take a look. Let's dive into usnews.com. This first article here, hundreds of hospitals could close across rural America. Now, the article goes on to state, and by the way, this was published in January 2023, so just a couple of months ago. But it states, hundreds of rural hospitals across the U.S. are teetering on the edge of closure with their financial status increasingly in peril, a new report reveals. More than 200 rural hospitals are at immediate risk of closure because they are not making enough money to cover the rising cost of providing care, and their low financial reserves leave them little margin for error. The Center for Healthcare Quality and Payment Reform report states, overall, more than 600 rural hospitals, nearly 30% of rural hospitals nationwide, are at risk of closing in the near future, according to reports. 600 hospitals at risk in these rural areas. I, for one, do not want to see those closures in the United States of America. We absolutely need our health care. But just to kind of give you an update of what has been closing thus far, let's fast forward to March 24th, 2023, we have 18 hospitals who have closed departments or ended services. And you can see the entire list here, everything from Miami to California, to Texas, to Wisconsin, to Ocean Springs there. It's got a whole slew of them, as you can see. On top of that, we also have 26 hospitals who are closing service lines. This is at Becker's ASC review. So service lines are also being closed in the health industry. Again, this is all across the United States of America. You can pause that to see if your area has been impacted. But on top of it all, what else is happening in our hospitals is maternity wards are closing because of lack of babies. They're not having as many babies. Take a look here. And this is on the WashingtonExaminer.com. I'm going to pull that up here. Maternity wards are closing everywhere because of lack of babies. The media desperately wants to make it a story about something else there, the abortion bans. Then we also have Fox News, unsustainable situation. Staffing shortages are forcing another Northwest hospital to stop delivering babies. 2 Idaho hospitals to close maternity wards, citing staffing shortages there as well. So I could probably pull up around 50, 60 articles immediately regarding these closures and shutting down of our hospitals all across the country. I'm sure some of you have even had closures or seen closures in your area. But there's a lot of things that are adding to this. They're saying financial. The reason that they're closing the maternity ward is obviously there's not enough babies. They're also having staffing shortages. And by the way, people aren't having babies right now because we have Democrats ruling our country to the ground, aka leftist, communist, progressives. And because of things like inflation, massive gas prices, a two-tiered justice system, as we're seeing right now with Donald Trump and many of the patriots here. People are afraid to have babies in this kind of environment. They don't have enough money to support a baby. They're having inflation issues and crisis. So I believe that we are going to naturally see less babies in this upcoming year and maybe even into next year, up until at least 2024 with Biden in charge, because people are afraid to have babies in an unstable environment. If I wanted to have a baby, I don't. I am done for good. But I wouldn't be having a baby in this situation if I was a mother trying to start a family and a new family, right? All my kids are 17 on up to 21. So we're good there. Don't want any more, but I know there's many of you who listen who have who are maybe young parents, or maybe you're a grandparent and you have younger kids, and you could probably relate as to why a lot of them are not having it in a kind of unstable environment that Biden has us in. The bottom line is that our hospitals are closing, and this is a real problem in our country. But here's another article that kind of details why some of that is happening, and this is on zerohedge.com, and it's written by Andrew Cass of Becker's Hospital Review, same one as some of the links here that I showed you a little bit earlier on Becker's Healthcare. But here's what it says: bonds of 8 hospital lapse and impairment, meaning they experienced covenant issues amounting to a technical or monetary default in the first quarter of 2023, the highest number of hospitals disclosing default since 2011. And here's the Bloomberg report here. You can see 2010, it was a little lower. 2011 shot up, and then it started going down. Of course, during COVID era there, it went down because we were in desperate need. And then in 2023, you can see it shot up there as far as those financial charges. But it goes on to state this. It says, the data comes from the Municipal Market Analysis. Liz Washburn, the organization's managing director, told Bloomberg that an unusual aspect of the impairments is some are coming from large, highly rated system. Quote, some of the unusual parts about the impairments that we're seeing is that they are coming from sometimes largely highly rated systems, she said in an interview. That's actually something that struck us at the beginning of the year when it started to happen, because you wouldn't expect normally to see these breaches happening for an A-rated system. Miss Washburn said that this is due to a combination of negative investment returns in 2022, federal COVID-19 relief funds drying up, and rising cost, particularly labor cost, according to the report. And she added that a backlog of patients who need to move to nursing homes but cannot due to staffing shortages have also affected the finances. And now add to that, debt costs are higher, she told Bloomberg. So obviously you can see a lot of issues there happening with our hospitals and even our nursing homes. I've talked about that and done some in-depth details on that. But with this inflation, with labor cost, with having to pay more labor costs, not enough people to work the system. A lot of our staffs, by the way, really got tired with COVID-19. They were overworked massively during that. And a lot of them got discouraged with all these nitty gritty things you have to wear, you have to do extra added things you have to, process in order just to have one person. It's like they have all this massive, monstrous paperwork that they have to fill out for no reason, thus cueing delays and everything else under the sun. But it's exactly what the Biden administration wants. If they get their universal health care that they want, we're not talking about a good healthcare system, in my opinion. We're talking about one with massive amounts of paperwork, massive long lines, and the whole 9 yards. We're not going to have as good of healthcare as we used to have if we continue to go in Biden's direction as a result of some of the things that happened during the pandemic. As you're seeing, some of the relief funds drying up, some of the negative investment returns of 2022. Now we have hospitals in rural areas closing their doors. And I can't help but shake the fact, is there more to the story? Did they know the repercussions that some of their plans and some of their deals would have, their stimulus packages and stuff would have on these hospitals? And I guess ultimately that is for you to decide. But either way, this is a real problem that should hit home. And like I said, on top of it, there are many interested young children who are willing to move up into that industry. But a lot of them are being stifled because, say, hey, they don't want to get the COVID-19, vaccine. My daughter actually being one of those. She wanted to be in that industry, but because there's so many rules and regulations, it's discouraging a lot of kids. So I fear that in our very near future, we could be looking at even more shortages for the simple reason of all the red tape. It's scaring a lot of the next generation away from even partaking in that industry. Anyhow, I love all of you. Please, again, don't forget to check out restrictedrepublic.com. Thanks again for being a part. I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.